So let's talk about some things not golf specific. So fishing. You ever go fishing?
Yep.
Show me how you cast the fishing line. Okay, good. You notice what you did not do right there? You didn't go like this. You didn't go. You let the wrist angle and elbow angle change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that shot, you went like this. So you held your angles in the right arm until beyond impact. Maybe not in reality if we had 3D measurement, probably not as exaggerated as that, but it had that look. So what that does for you is it holds, this is probably part of the reason you're struggling to draw it, when the club swings away from the ball, it opens, right, relative to the line of play.
Right.
The face will open. So in order to draw it, it has to re-square.
Right.
Well, if I hold my angles, I'm preventing or drastically slowing the rate at which the toe closes back over. So the term we've used for years is held off. Looks like you're holding it off. Right? Holding off what? Holding off the toe.
Mm-hmm.
Holding the toe off so it doesn't close or, like you said earlier, flip over.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I want you to understand this, and this is a big deal. Let's watch what happens here. If you hold the toe right there, come on over. Just hold that toe. Use it, actually, let me hold this. Use it with hold it with your left hand. Now, check my forearm for tension. Tell me if just check with that arm. Does it feel tight, tense?
No.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do is observe the behavior of the club face after you drop it. See what it does?
It rolls over all by itself.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's natural, and it has a certain rate and a certain timing to that. It's, generally speaking, you could say for every degree that the shaft moves from horizontal toward vertical, the face should be closing one corresponding degree. So if I carry it below horizontal, still working, so there's tension here now. If I'm dragging the club below horizontal and then relax, well, it doesn't close all 90 degrees. It may close 72
mm-hmm.
or 86, but I'm not 90.
Right.
So what this means is that on the way to the ball, this point in time, where the shaft is roughly parallel to the ground, is the end of the player's physical exertion. Beyond that point, I would not want to be actively doing anything. There'll be motion.
Yeah, this is the part that confuses me too, because I've been trying to, I feel like I'm doing this to get my club square.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, I've been working on this so much and now I'm coming through and I'm trying to rotate to come through.
Sure.
And this is where I feel like I'm tense.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got a lot going on because I'm trying to pull it over and close it.
I totally agree.
So that I'm tense here, and I think that's where I'm trying that, and then I'll just,
right.
That's what I'm saying. What am I supposed to do? That's part of my.
Here's the answer.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know what that means. I don't know how that feels. Let's
Sure.
put it that way.
Sure. No, I get it. It feels like when you're casting the fishing line, it feels like when you let go of the button.
Yeah.
It just sails, right? So it's the same thing here. When we stop exerting yourself, okay, then the speed transfers from you immediately to the head and it goes whoosh. And there's that's release. What does release mean? Let go.
Yeah.
Quit. Relax, whatever you want to call it. So it doesn't take any work late. All the work is early.
Yeah.
Right, for producing speed. And the squaring effect on the face, 100% automatic. All you can do
then why have I been keeping the club face open forever?
Because you haven't been relaxed. So all you can do is slow down the rate of closure or speed up the rate of closure if you're doing something. If you're doing nothing, in other words, just allowing the natural occurrences to take place that need to, Mother Nature is undefeated, man. It never gets it wrong. But finish this sentence? To err is
Human.
yeah. So if you're making it a manual control of how much squaring or how little squaring the face is doing down through the hitting zone, you better be really good at it. Right?
Right.
Better be really, really good. And it takes a lot of maintenance. And you may have the time for that, and it may endear the game to you to go through that process. That fits some players' personalities. I'm not saying it shouldn't, but it may not either.
I don't want to do more.
I'm all about easy personally.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, there's a word that people use a lot to describe good golf swings, and that's effortless. Right. You see like a Payne Stewart or a Fred Couples, Ernie Els, BJ. You see these guys swing, and you go, wow, how do they do that? The ball's just exploding, and he's like half asleep.
Right.
What's he doing? Right. So what those players understand is what we just talked about. They may not be able to verbalize it like that, and to them they don't need to because they're already making millions of dollars hitting the ball. They just need to know what it feels like, right? They don't have to put it into words. But it's very similar, very, very similar to cracking a whip. So you've seen that done, right? So a whip is tapered from handle to tip. It's also soft and pliable, and it's heavy. It's got some weight to it. Okay, so when the cowboy takes the whip and cracks it, all he really does is he's got the whip in his hand. He's got an angle here, he's got an angle here, he's got an angle here at the shoulder. That's all potential energy that he's about to convert into kinetic.
Right.
Then all he does is he takes a step forward and he goes and stops. So there's a short burst, an impulse of effort, right, that creates this gigantic magnitude of energy. Right, it's like an EKG. It's like boom. It's like the graph shoots up as he goes like this. Okay, then he quits and waits. And a split second later, the sound barrier is broken, and we hear this crack noise. That's why we hear that crack. It's going 1,000 miles an hour, the tip of the whip. And all he's done is this. So what's making it do that? Well, it's the pliability of the whip and the taper of the whip. So the taper means that as the energy courses down the length of the whip, there's ever less and less surface area for the energy to occupy. So as it's having less and less surface area, it's racing faster and faster, searching for new surface areas.
Right.
So it continues to gain velocity as it travels down the tapered length of the whip. Now the pliability is absolutely essential. Because if you took that whip and you cut it, and you put in, I don't know, like a foot-long piece of broomstick, and then reattached the two ends of the whip together to the broomstick and gave it back to the cowboy and said, okay, cowboy, let's see what you got. And he does that, well, the energy will roll down to that stiff section and fizzle out as soon as it hits the stiff piece. So if I'm a golfer, my arm, point at me like this, just point straight up. So which is larger in diameter, your fingertip or your wrist?
The wrist.
Wrist or elbow?
All the way up, yeah.
All the way to the shoulder. So it tapers from your shoulder to the fingertip. And then, that's about the same as the handle, but not the tip. So there's my whip. Okay? Now if I'm rigid with arm tension, if I've got lots of grip pressure, or I'm manipulating or manually moving the club down here where it's got lots of momentum, lots of inertia involved, I've got a broomstick in my whip. I can't get the energy through the stiff point. So it comes up short. And then I'm out here like throwing my whole body at it. I can't figure out why Payne Stewart's over there making 60% swings and out hitting me by 40 yards. And I'm going, what gives? Well, that's the answer. You got to have softness through the